For another example of a linearization, I'd like to find the linearization of f of x is equal to the square root of 4x plus 4 at x equals 3. We're going to use this approximation, or use this linearization to approximate the square root of 16.02 and the square root of 15.92. So with that in mind, our linearization formula, L of x, is equal to f of a plus f prime of a times the quantity x minus a. In this example, we are using the function f of x is equal to the square root of 4x plus 4, and our a value in this case is 3. Now with that in mind, let's go ahead and plug in x equals 3, and we will be getting the square root of 4 times 3 plus 4. This is 12 plus 4 for 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So as long as our inputs are near 3, this radical is going to be near 16, which is why these approximations are near the square root of 16. Additionally, we are going to need the derivative of our function. Because it is a radical function, we'll go ahead and do what we would typically do for a radical function and refer to it as a 1/2 power. Applying the power rule to the outside, we'll get 1/2 times 4x plus 4 to the negative 1/2 power, and then, because of the chain rule, multiply by the derivative of the inside, which would be 4. If we simplify the 4 times the half, we will get 2. The negative 1/2 power, negative means in the denominator. 1/2 power means under a square root. So that'll be 2 over the square root of 4x plus 4. With that in mind, we now need to actually plug in x equals 3. So we will get 2 divided by the square root of 4 times 3 plus 4. You'll notice that this radical that we get here is the same as the radical that we had earlier, so this will be equal to 2 over 4, or 1/2. This completes our linearization, letting us know that the linearization is going to be equal to our function value, 4, plus our slope, times x minus our a value. Now once again, to interpret this, what we're saying is that near x equals 3, the square root of 4x plus 4 is approximately equal to 4 plus half of x minus 3. Now the thing that's different about this problem in comparison to our last problems is that we're not just plugging in x equals 16.02 and x equals 15.92. Rather, we want the thing underneath the radical to be equal to these two values. So with that in mind, we actually need to do a little bit of algebra to figure out what x is equal to. So to approximate the square root of 16.02, we need that 4x plus 4 is equal to 16.02. Now, ideally, we should get a number that's relatively close to x equals 3. Subtracting 4 from both sides, we get 4x is equal to 12.02. And dividing both sides by 4, 12 divided by 4 will be 3. And 0.02 divided by 4 will be 0.003. Excuse me, 0.005. I was looking at the 3 when I wrote down the 5. Oopsie poopsie. So let's go ahead and plug in x equals 3.005. We'll say at x equals 3.005. The radical will turn into the square root of 16.02, which is exactly what we just calculated. And the approximation up here will be 4 plus half of 3.005 minus 3. Little short on space, so we'll say 3.005 minus 3 is going to be 0.005. Half of 5 will be 2.5, so half of 0.005 is going to be 0.0025. So I'm getting 4.0025 for our approximation. Now once again, if you'd like to see how good your approximation is, you can always use your calculator to do so. The square root of 16.02 I am getting 4.002499 in comparison to the 0.0025 that we got here. I would say our approximation is pretty spot on. Now with that in mind, we have another approximation. I would like to approximate the square root of 15.92. We need, once again, the thing under the radical, 4x plus 4, to be equal to 15.92. Ideally, we should be getting a value of x that's relatively close to 3. Subtracting 4 from both sides, we get 4x is equal to 11.92. And then dividing both sides by 4, we will get 2.98. Yes. So let's go ahead and plug in x equals 2.98. That would be the square root of 15.92 will be approximately equal to 4 plus 1/2 of 2.98 minus 3. Now 2.98 minus 3 is going to be negative 0.02. Why don't we just write it down? We have the room. It's half of negative 0.02. Taking half of that will be 4, we'll call that minus 0.01, which will be equal to 3.99. So I'm predicting that the square root of 15.92 is going to be approximately equal to 3.99. Once again, we can use our calculator to verify our result. The square root of 15.92 is, we got 3.99. Calculator gives us 3.98998. So this is accurate to the 4th decimal place when rounded appropriately, and really not that far off at the 5th decimal place either. So that is a fine approximation right there.